Okay.
Tell me, what is the purpose of the Center for Preaching and Pastoral Leadership?
At its basic level, the purpose of the Center for Preaching and Pastoral Leadership is to equip and encourage pastors. We love pastors. Dr. Mosley, who is our assistant director of the center, we both served as pastors, and so we want to help pastors who are facing a tough job by encouraging them and equipping them to do their work. When I came here as a professor in 2012, the latter part of 2012, it was my vision to start some kind of center, and I wanted it to be a center for mentoring, for pastors mentoring young men. But as we thought about who we are institutionally, we certainly wanted to focus on preaching because that's very much a part of our president's heartbeat, and we wanted to focus on pastoral leadership, and so it became the Center for Preaching and Pastoral Leadership. Over the years, Dr. Ewart led the center, Dr. Shaddix led the center, Dr. Pace led the center, Roger Locke led the center, and all of them stepped out for good reasons. But for it to come back to me now, and for us to have the privilege of operating under a grant from the Lilly Foundation, it's really sweet for me to get to do this at this stage of my career. So we really do want to equip and encourage not just our students, but pastors. We're thinking internally with our student body and externally to those pastors who turn to us for equipping and encouraging. So we try to do this primarily through resources and conferences. For example, we produce a weekly podcast called Pastor Matters. And in that podcast, we intentionally want to provide practical guidance for pastors. We invite in guests that we just believe in, guests who have pastored or are pastoring, some retired pastors who just finished the race well. We want pastors to hear from them. So the podcast is important. We produce content, blogs that we put on our website regularly. We also sponsor conferences. We have our Engaging Exposition Preaching Conference every fall in September. 2 days of great preaching with trust. And then every spring we have our Christ-Centered Exposition Workshop where we invite pastors to come in and learn from faculty here at Southeastern how to preach through a particular book of the Bible. I hope what is the best thing that we do is not the stuff that we offer, but the heart out of which we offer it. I mean it when I say our team is committed to encouraging and equipping pastors. We want to love on pastors. We want pastors who are hurting, who are seeking some guidance. We want them to come to us and they want to come back to us because they have found something worthwhile, because we have ministered to them in some way, whether it's a phone call, an email, a resource. I want them to know that we're here and want to come to us because they know what they'll get from our center.
What can a student expect from an equipping lunch?
We offer equipping lunches once a month, and those lunches are not only for students, they're for students and also for local pastors who want to come, and for local pastors who are interning some guys. They're teaching some guys on their staff, and they want to bring their interns with them. We want our students and local pastors to have about 30 minutes of just fellowship together, and then hear from a leader, an expert, a pastor, one of our professors, to learn about practical ministry, to learn about how to start well in ministry, how to finish well in ministry, how to read the word, how to counsel folks, how to avoid burnout. I'm just thinking about different topics that we provide in the different lunches. Sometimes we tie those lunches to chapel speakers if they're able to stay for the lunch and speak to our students. Ideally, what we want to do is within an hour, we want to provide lunch and some practical training that students and pastors can take home with them. You know, it's funny. One of the ways we're learning that our center is helping pastors is when I'm on the road, or Caleb, my assistant, or others from our team are with me, and the folks who listen to our podcast will tell us that they listen to the podcast. They tell us what they enjoy about it, or they'll come up to us because they often know me, but they don't know Caleb or Zach, that you guys are helping me right now at least. they only know them by the voice. And so they'll come up at a convention or something and say, hey, I know your voice. It's good to see your face. And one of my joys about the podcast is I have two young students, a PhD student and an MDiv student who do it with me. And so they get to know our guests, they get some experience in communication, and they enjoy it, and I love making that possible for them.
What are some tangible ways you've seen students equipped for ministry through the work that you guys are doing?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. We don't always see the long-term product. So, for example, if students come to an equipping lunch and one of our counseling professors is talking about how do you avoid burnout, we know the students at least leave the lunch with ideas, with an understanding of the reality, the potential of burnout, and some simple concepts to try to avoid that or try to address that if they find themselves there. And so what we really want to do is give them some tools that they may use immediately or they may use later on in ministry. So our prayer is that God will use what we're giving them years later in their ministry. But for current pastors, same kind of idea. If they hear about those concepts like addressing burnout on our podcast, because we don't walk directly with them, we just trust that the Lord is going to use that in their own ministries. For our team in the center, we're committed to a couple of things. First, we always want to be encouraging. We want to make sure that what we're producing for pastors is not discouraging. Even when we're addressing the tough part of ministry, we want them to walk away saying, no, in God's power, we can do this. And I want my team to have fun together. That's really important to us, that we laugh together, we enjoy the time together. When we have meals together, our whole team is there, and we just enjoy being together. And I'm convinced that when we have fun doing what we're doing, the final product that we produce will be better for pastors. Coming full circle, coming from this was my vision, even though what was originally the vision morphed into the Center for Preaching and Pastoral Leadership, to bring it full circle for me at this stage in my academic career has been really sweet. And the truth is, I'm a pastor at heart. I tell people I'm an academician under duress. I'm a pastor, a shepherd, a missionary at heart.
Yeah.
And being able to lead this center and talk with pastors, minister to pastors, write for pastors, produce podcasts for pastors, allows me to scratch that itch a little bit of being able to shepherd even from a distance. And so it's allowed me to bring balance to the administrative work as dean, to this practical work as center director, and I really like that balance.
That's a huge blessing.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
Very good. I think we're good. That's all
Okay.
the questions. Thank you so much for your time.
Hope I gave you what you needed.